So, what does it mean if Egypt has an Islamist president? Neftalli Bennett joins us now from Jerusalem. He is the former chief of staff to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Welcome again, Neftalli. What is your reaction if Morsi actually pulls it out today?
Well, it would mean that this Arab Spring is turning rapidly into a Muslim winter. We got to understand that Iran has been the extreme radical Islam former group in the Middle East, while we had Egypt as a counter of a secular, very moderate regime over the past 35, 40 years. If Morsi indeed wins and the Muslim Brotherhood wins, it means that we're looking at a very, very radical Islamic Middle East full of tensions, and it's not going to be a simple situation for Israel or for the West.
Could it eventually lead to a scuttling of the peace treaty?
Well, you know, effectively the peace treaty, while formally it still exists, effectively it's not there anymore. The gas is not coming in from Egypt to Israel. There's no meaningful economic ties, but still we're certainly not in a situation of war, and that's good news. We are under a radical regime, though chances are low. What it means is America has to stay strong, Israel has to stay strong under this very unstable environment.
I mean, do you think the peace treaty and any stability that there remains would really stay in place if the Muslim Brotherhood takes over Egypt?
Look, I'm worried about that. Obviously, when Iran had its revolution, they severed all ties with Israel. I think we can expect the same from Egypt. I hope it won't happen, but I think it will. And that's why the one thing that we can do as an island of democracy and strength in this region is to stay strong and not move towards directions that would risk our future.
And if Ahmed Shafiq, the former Mubarak ally, pulls it out, Mubarak obviously more so in Israel's interest, what type of changes, if any, do you expect if he wins today?
Well, in that event, I think we're looking at a very long period of instability, because I think the overwhelming majority of the Egyptians that voted for a majority in the parliament for radical Islam, roughly 75% either voted for the Muslim Brotherhood or for the Salafists that make the Muslim Brotherhood look moderate, are not going to be happy. So one way or another, we're looking either at a radical Islamic regime in Egypt or a very prolonged time frame of instability.
Either way, it doesn't look bright, sadly, for the future. It's talking about a radical Islamic regime. Let's turn to Tehran. Russian President Vladimir Putin will be visiting your country, Israel, this week. What do you expect to come of that visit, and do you think that they can stop Iran from potentially building a nuclear weapon?
Well, first of all, our goal is to really get Russia to step up to the plate, join the sanctions, the upcoming sanctions on the central bank and on export. Hopefully, if they do that, that will be able to some extent, slow down Iran. Right now, the situation is very simple. While the West is having fruitless talks with Iran for over 6 months, you know, Eric, you and I were here 6 months ago, Iran is rapidly racing towards acquiring a nuclear weapon. They've tripled the pace of enrichment of high-grade uranium, 20% uranium. They're moving their facilities underground as to be immune from any future attacks. And in the meantime, the West is just talking and talking. It's time for a plausible threat on Iran. I think that's the only way to avoid a potential attack on Iran.
In your view, what is a plausible threat?
A plausible threat means America says to, and the West says to Iran, you stop enriching uranium right now, or else we'll put into effect all the force that we have to stop you. Because what it means if they don't stop, it means we're going to wake up maybe 12 months from now to a nuclear nightmare in Iran. It means they'll have warheads, nuclear warheads, that can reach Rome, Madrid, Tel Aviv, and London. If we don't act now, it'll be much, much worse 12 months from now. We got to understand this will change the whole future of the world, and it's America's leadership that everyone is looking for right now.
A warning for a possible nuclear Iran in months or within a year, as well as an Islamist state in Egypt. That's the potential future this morning. in the Middle East from Neftalli Bennett. Mr. Bennett, who is the former chief of staff for Benjamin Netanyahu, we thank you always for joining us here on the Fox News channel on these Sunday mornings.
Thank you, Eric.